Ya. Y la tabla que esté.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, we want to welcome you to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today, with us, Angel Rebo, CEO consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is going to be with once again, Sunny Chase. Sunny is a chief strategist partner and feature writer of an important conscious magazine in Los Angeles. She connects change makers with other change makers to make the world a better place by promotion and introductions of events. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia is a non-profit organization. Our mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us. How? Subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment on this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is gonna benefit from the content that we are conversating here today. Also, while we are live streaming like right now, we have the active chat, the screen that you're gonna be seeing here on my side. Through there, you can interact with us, you can enter your questions. We just please ask you to follow the format, the word question in caps, the place where you're seeing us from, and the actual question. Last but not least, Mindalia is live streaming from Monday to Friday in Portuguese through Mindalia Televisao, in Spanish through Mindalia Televisión, and in English, as you already know, through Mindalia TV English. We invite you to visit us, our different channels, find out what we are developing there, information as beautiful and as interesting as the one that you see daily on Mindalia TV. We also want you to collaborate with us with your own valuable content. And for that, you can go to our website. On the top, you're going to find a link that says Collaborate with Mindalia. That link is going to take you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team will be contacting you. So you could be just like Sunny, just like our guest today, sharing information through Mindalia TV platforms in Spanish, Portuguese, or English. I'm not going to delay this any further. I'm going to leave you with Sonny, with Angel, and with our wonderful guest. You're going to find out very soon who he is. Guys, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirna, for the introduction. Welcome, TV. And welcome, Sunny. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and I'm so excited to be here on this wonderful day with you once again on our beautiful, fabulous Thursdays. Very early out here in LA. So you're not seeing me, but I'm drinking my special tea, and I do have my candle burning and everything for us for our magical next hour.
Exactly. So as you probably see also, I'm not at my typical place, the set that I have at my office. So I'm myself moving from one place in the country to another one. And the reason for doing that is because we are actually going to attend an event with amazing people that you are going to actually meet personally through Mindalia TV. So just be ready for that, because that's going to happen today and the upcoming 3 days. You're going to be watching interviews with amazing people. And that's why I'm actually on an airport, and I know that lighting, maybe it's not the best one, but still, passion or enthusiasm. And I woke up very early today, but still, passionate and very happy to see you, even if it's only through a picture, Sunny.
Thank you, and I'm sorry about that. These techno situations, I tell you, it must be that I'm just supposed to be a voice today, I guess. Well, and because that's what we are. We're a lot of things, but we're a voice, that is for sure. And oh my goodness, we have phones going off. What a day. So, Angel, so much is going on in the world, and we're now moving into the holiday season. So I do have my candles burning and flowers in my background and everything, because we are now moving into the season of gratitude. And, so that's kind of how to play with that. And one thing I would love to have for kind of even a theme this month is really connecting with our people, our friends and our family. Last week we had the wonderful Aimee Linden Adams on, and we were talking a lot about the importance of self-love and taking that to a very deep place, not just sort of the, have a sip of tea and have a massage, but the importance of really, really understanding what true love is. And of course, when we really get into those tidbits of ourselves and how we, can do the little things that can make ourselves feel better, taking care of ourselves as if we were our own little sister or brother, it makes such a difference. So I'm grateful and excited to be talking about the theme. I feel like would be so fun is we do so much things in the outer world, and we are doing all this, things for so many people in the way that we're doing, creating money and creating all of that. But like, where are our friends and our family? Like, truly listening to them, speaking our truth to them, being our new person each day instead of who they thought, they always think we are, or who we were when we were 12. So I love to play with that this month. That's my idea of fun.
No, that's that's so powerful, Sunny. And let me share something with you that actually impressed me when I came to this country. As you know, I'm originally from Spain, like Mindalia, and we arrived in 2010 to this wonderful country. And so the first holiday I took was Thanksgiving.
Oh.
And we were wondering if we had, is it the House of the Prairie? That
Yeah.
that series in the House of the Prairie,
Yeah.
forever. It was like I grew up on that, and everybody in my generation grew up with the House of the Prairie. Every single afternoon, Sunday afternoon, we would have the House of the Prairie. So Thanksgiving celebration, but that celebration doesn't really exist in Europe at all. So
Right.
when I came to the US and I lived my first Thanksgiving ever, I realized the power of having an entire country, 300 plus million people at the same time, the same day, being grateful for what they have and for what they are and for what they do. Isn't it amazing? I mean, what's the power? How can anybody match that? Do you see the metaphysical power of that? And can you imagine that besides being grateful, we were also fully present, like radically mindful present in that, celebrating that that moment of gratitude, or that day of gratitude, or even that month of gratitude. And
Yeah.
I think that our guest today is gonna be able to tell us a little bit about that too. I'm just guessing.
Yeah,
Just guessing,
absolutely.
Sunny.
Absolutely. And oh my gosh, thank you for saying that. I think it's so true because there is a lot of course, so much power, as we know now, with a lot of our good friends like Greg Braden and James Twyman, the peace troubadour, who goes to places with his guitar and his voice, and goes to places like the Gaza Strip or North Korea to be singing and bringing people together around the world to take that 15 minutes of just love and peace, and kind of the pause button and everything else, and just focusing on love and peace only. And they've done statistical, research on that, about how much less violence goes on during that time and around that time. And so what you're saying about Thanksgiving Day, it is so true, because it really does sort of start now. You see the leaves turning on the trees. You see things in the shops. People are starting to get ready to make their plans to visit people, decorations, food preparation. It isn't just that day. It certainly is a lot to going up to that day, and it culminates on that day. So, and then the Friday after is often really fun too, because the family's still together. People have traveled from here and there. And so I think that that's a really, really powerful message that you got from from an outside view coming into our country.
Yes. and I remember, sometimes people like from Nigeria. I mean, let's talk about politics, because it's we are on a day some people tend to think sometimes, United States is such a, worldwide power, and anything is possible,
Yes.
but I mean, and some sort of discussion. There were a lot of discussions saying, the power of the U.S. is gonna, it's not gonna be the number one economy anymore. China is gonna be. I mean, again, this just this moment of gratitude, and as there's a lot of people that, and you mentioned the other day the Heart Math Institute. If we were able to measure the energy, the level of energy that in the U.S. alone was generated throughout the entire day, oh my God, the Thanksgiving Day. I mean, oh my God. I mean, if we could focus, can you imagine focusing our energy that day while we're being grateful for everything that we do, and we have, on just like not fight over the differences of the people in this country, not fight over the differences. Let's get together. Let's get together. And I would like to extend that actually to a very specific place in my country, which is the Catalonia area in the south, in the northeast of Spain. That they are fighting. A lot of people are fighting for the independence of that place. I would definitely like to say, hey, get together, talk to each other, and come into a solution, which is going to be, and all those friends that used to be friends and not anymore. So,
well, I think that yes, and I think, unfortunately, this morning we had another mass shooting in America, in Southern California, actually, another fairly large mass shooting, and I look at these things you're bringing in politics, and I have this beautiful book in front of me, The Nowist, and I'm thinking about what we talked about last week also, and I keep sort of beating the drum of, I really, really believe that the service that you do, and that I do in my humble way on my shows, and bringing the guests together like Billy Mandarino, who will be on in a short bit, if we can really get, a lot of this comes from fear. People are afraid of having something taken away from them. So that's one of the main separations. Even though we know we're not separated, but the sort of self-imposed separation that we experience is who's going to take mine away from me? Whatever it is, my freedom, my civil rights, my anything, my money, my job, my whatever, although we should be afraid of civil rights. I take that back. I think we should hold on to civil rights. But you know what I'm saying. It starts in a fear of what is going to be taken away from me or my family. And I think that, again, if we can really do a lot of healing about that and fill ourselves up with self-love, and it might sound trite in the space of such big things, but if more and more of us have that tipping point ability to be able to really fill ourselves up, really let go of the fear, because we know there's nothing that really indeed can be taken from us, then a lot of these conflicts will start melting away. And I think with having almost 100 women in Congress here in the United States, that's a very big deal. Never, of course, ever happened before. And more women in the Senate and more women in the governorships. I think there's going to be, again, more heart. And by the way, one thing I want to say to that also, Nancy Pelosi said, which I really appreciate. One of the interviewers, reporters yesterday asked her, well, now that there are going to be more women in the Congress, are you going to be it was almost as if she was saying, are you guys going to go and bake pies or something? She asked kind of a provincial question, sort of, well, is it going to be more like, and then Nancy Pelosi just stops her, which I loved, and said, every issue is a woman's issue. And I thought, amen, sister, absolutely. So with that, I think it would be fun to bring in Billy. Is that okay with you? So I want to give him a good, introduction.
I've seen Billy wanting to say so many things already.
Yeah, I can feel it too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Excuse me.
Billy is now a dear friend of mine, and one thing that the reason I'm bringing him to Mindalia TV, yes, he wrote a book called The Nowist, which has the tagline, Finding the Science to Your Ultimate Desires in No Time, which I love that. Another reason that we're just really having him on our show today, and I'm bringing him to Mindalia and to your peeps, Angel, is because he is really the embodiment of love, peace, and brother sisterhood. He's just such a positive person all the time. I've seen him in different situations that were maybe not completely optimum, and he almost just doesn't even see it. He just always sees the good. He always sees the possibility. He always sees the potential. And he is really, really successful in what he does, I think, because of that. And he's also very humble. So somehow he weaves all that together. And so he's just a really beautiful person and human being. And I love this book, too, because there's so many real action steps in here. So without further ado, let's go ahead, Myrna, and bring on our wonderful Billy Mandarino. Hi, Billy. Are you with us? Yay.
Yes. Oh, my God. I'm just so honored to be here today. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Myrna. And of course, Sonny Chase, the famous Sonny Chase. Thank you for having me. I'm honored. And I love listening in on your conversation about what's happening in the world, because I think that's why we're all here, right? We're trying to elevate this negative planet and this negative situation, especially what happened last night in California, just to talk about current events. Yeah. And just we get so many examples to this unconscious lifestyle that people are living. And the world is not slowing down, it's speeding up. And what are we doing? And what we're doing here on Mindalia TV is huge. It's the butterfly, right? It's the higher consciousness that we're bringing just to this conversation can help shift that negative energy that's causing so much pain, so much unrest, so much death in this world. And that's my mission. My book, The Nowist, is here. I'm inspired to bring this book to the world because I want to do my part in bringing present moment awareness, higher consciousness, mindful focus on making things better and being connected to the oneness that we're all part of and not the separation.
Absolutely. And I'd love for you, one of the things that I love about what we do on Mindalia TV and my other shows as well, is to really bring the action steps, because it's easy to sort of, chat about, oh, well, we should be more loving to our brothers and sisters and to ourselves. But, kind of how do we do that, for goodness sakes, especially when things are going on that pull us out of our, place of feeling at peace, when there's another place where someone is free to come in and shoot up the situation and the people. So how do we do that? And Billy, there's so many examples in this book, but I just thought I would offer you the floor to bring in, a couple that you'd like to talk about.
Thank you so much, Sonny. Thank you, because it is my mission. I mean, the subtitle to my book is, finding the signs to your ultimate desires in no time. And if you look at what's happening in the world right now, there's a lot of unconscious negative behavior. People are focused on past. I understand this gentleman that killed these people was an ex-Marine, and I think there was so much past probably involved in his actions and so much dwelling in the past and worrying about the future. And present moment awareness is just my mission, because I think that's where our power is. I know that's where the power is in my life. And that's what I want to pay forward to the world and teach people how to get there consistently through simple processes and simple plays on words. And I'll give you one that is really kind of a cornerstone of the book. And I think of a world in stress, and I realize, that there's no such thing as stress or just people thinking stressful thoughts. Great teachers have, advocated that for millennia. And we are all focused on our past and we're focused on our future. And the stress needs time to survive. It needs a past, it needs a future. And in my life, I've had some traumatic events happen, being a high school track star and going through some traumatic disappointments and some emotional wrecks and everything that the life process gives to people. I've experienced it. It's just I became a voracious reader and drunk deeply of books. Spiritual books, self-help books, books that were feeding my soul. And this book wrung out basically as that spiritual sponge, if you will, was just filled. It wrung out in the form of this book, The Nowist, and the teaching that is in my book, The Nowist. And when I think of a world in stress, I think of a world, you know, focused on past and future. And my power, when I discovered the now, when I became a Nowist, it was when I realized that the present moment is where your power is. And, you know, I thought in one simple word, you know, my life shift, N-O-W. And now spelled backwards is one. And I learned that when I'm in the now, I've won my presence back. It's also O-N-E, one infinite source, one divine mind, one consciousness. There's so much power in this present moment, and it's so simple. Yet we get caught up in the minutia and the inertia of living in our daily schedules, and our focus is always someplace other than the present moment. So once I found that place, once I started living there consistently and using my imagination to live from that present moment, that's when everything shifted for me. It was realizing when I'm in this present moment, when I'm here now, I've won my presence back. And from that place of power, I use my imagination to focus on what I want and to get out of the false, man-made, you know, time-bound world that lives in stress, but to live in the present moment through my breathing, through my focus, through my imagination for a better life. Hey, Sunny, there you are.
I am. Oh, wow. How did that happen? That's cool.
Hi.
Wow. Well, yay. Hi, people. That's magic. The time has come that I am meant to be, and here is my candle that is glowing here. Yay. So, Billy, regarding that, thank you so much for all of that. And one of the things that I love to talk about too, when you're talking about one and all of that, again, how can we really feel that when we walk into a room, you know, there are 100 people there and we don't know everyone. We don't know anyone, let's say, and we're going into an event or something, let's say, like Angel, you'll be going into an event very shortly when you get off the plane. And I'm thinking of, I heard this tip from, again, our wonderful Dr. Sue. She's sort of on my mind lately because she's bringing forward so many things that are really, really useful. And she has this idea that if we walk into a room, any room, and we see everyone in the room as our tribe, as our friends, as our people, you know, it just kind of chokes me up to think of that, because indeed they are. But we don't know that when we walk in. Again, they come in all different shapes and sizes and everything like that. And we don't have that connection yet. But if we think of that, we have walked into that room. The universe has brought us together. They are our tribe for that moment, that hour, that day. And how cool to just take that on. Gosh, telling you guys this right now just gives me the chills because it is indeed true. Isn't that cool?
That's so cool. And I remember hearing stories of Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela. People would walk into a room where they didn't even see them. They were sitting in the corner, but the room was different. They'd feel the presence of this, you know, this peace that's just spread out. So if we can bring our highest energy and our highest self, you know, through our feelings before we enter a room. So our job is just to give it away, give our love away, give our presence away, because the highest energy is pure present awareness, present moment awareness. It's not really focused on your time-bound self. And you can bring that into a group of people. That's when you can elevate. That's when you can elevate a room. And that's when you can be like our great role models and Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, these wonderful beings that walked here before us.
Well, and also I'm thinking of just how fun that is. Like I'm thinking of you, you know, where I've sent you to different places where you didn't know anybody. You just knew me and I wasn't even there because I was needed somewhere else. And you were able to go in and just trust that this was your tribe, even before you got there. I know you did that. I just know you did that. And then once you got there, the people were so ready to welcome you. Even if they all knew each other, you came in and you just immediately within, you know, minutes became their tribe and they yours. And so I think it is something that we can not only know does happen, but I feel like we can activate that. And like with you, Angel, going into the situation you're going into where you're going to be interviewing people and connecting them and bringing them to us, you know, what do you say to that? Are you there?
I am here, but unfortunately my internet connection here at this airport actually failed, so I wasn't able to hear what you were saying. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. We were just talking about how we know that, I was saying what Dr. Seuss says, which is when we walk into a room, even if we don't know anybody, to just know that is our tribe immediately. And so, you know, and that those are our people, and to just go in and feel immediately, these are our friends, you know, there's no one against me here. I'm connected to all these people. Any and all of these people I could go and have a coffee with and become good friends. So that's what you're just about to do.
Exactly. And I think that when you were talking, Billy, about how busy we are in our lives, I think that we forget something, which is being open, just being open to receive. You know, I think it's more difficult to be open to receive than to be open to give. And, you know, isn't it funny?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there must be a reason for that. Maybe you have studied that, but you know what question was coming to me while I was listening to you, and now that you asked that question, Sunny, is that how do we know that we are present? How do we know that we are fully present? Is it something related to will? Is it something related to our heart? Because, oh my God, it's so true that we live in our past and we live in our future, but how do we know that we are in that present, which is infinitely powerful? How do we know that? Because I think that answering your question, Sunny,
Yeah.
it's probably one of the reasons is that, and how do we know that we are in that present moment, and also how can we stay in that present moment as you know, as long as possible? You know,
that's the trick. You're right. That's the trick.
Go for
so
it,
what
Billy.
do you think, Billy? Yeah, what do you think, Billy?
I think that's such a wonderful question, Angel. And thank you, Sunny, for getting this train going this way, because I love this. I love all of this. This is my heart. This is how I live. This is really what 90% of my day is made up of, living in this idea and this feeling and this emotion. And yes, Angel, most people are studying to be more peaceful, or maybe they're studying a certain practice for mindfulness or religion or spirituality. But you're right. How do individuals know, am I peaceful? Am I stressed out? Am I being present? And I think of it as contentment. I mean, William Shakespeare has a wonderful quote about contentment that stuck with me. And he says, "My crown is not on my head, but it's in my heart." You know, my crown is called content. A crown it is, seldom kings enjoy. And I think if you can learn to be content in any given moment and not ask for more, because the mantra of the ego is more, right? I'm separate from people. You know, I've got to compete. I'm beating up the Joneses, trying to be better than the Joneses. And when you can learn to be content and not ask for more, in my experience, that's how I find the present moment. Is not going out there thinking I'm going to strive. People in this world are striving, and I don't think they ever arrive. They always feel like they're in the doing and the being part of their life and their soul and their connection to oneness that is this present moment awareness. That's where the joy is. That's where you feel present, when you're content and you're not needing something to be different than it is. And that's what I study, and that's what I practice. And to be a Taoist is just someone that can live the vast majority of their day in present moment awareness. And the wonderful thing about that is you create abundance by being content and not asking for more.
So one thing that it comes to my mind, I was writing little notes, as I always do when I'm chatting with my peeps. When I was thinking, okay, well, how do we do that, to take that question even deeper, Angel, that question, you know, they sort of, and I'm thinking the way that I find that I can do it, you know, when I can, because I can't seem to always do it. But for example, when I'm with a person, really looking into their eyes and just kind of breathing a little deeper, just in kind of calming myself down and allowing myself to not do and not what am I going to say next, or how am I, you know, performing, or what do I have to do in an hour, but really giving myself the gift of, you know, Thanksgiving every day, you know, that moment of like, the cell phones are off. We're not going to be working today. We're going to have great food. We're going to have great fun. And we're going to be together for this one day in the year, like Angel, you were speaking of in the beginning of the show. You know, can we take that concept of the Thanksgiving celebration and bring it to the moment when we're going to have tea with a friend, when we're looking into our child's eyes who really needs us, and we have a lot of other things going on, but it's like, can we just shh and pause and allow and focus in a soft way on whatever is in front of us at that moment. Like this candle I have burning, just looking at the candle as if this is a person. I'm just allowing this candle to do what it's doing and just enjoying that candle right now. So yeah.
You are the light of the world, Sunny. You are. Reminder. That's a very good. We are all the light of the world. That's a good reminder to have a candle on screen.
Yes, I love that. So that's one of the ways that I feel that we can be use our presence as a present, of course. And you were talking, Billy, earlier. Both of you were talking about the love, and I love this this quote. And I'm not sure, this does not come from me, and I don't know who it comes from, but the one that leads with love goes the farthest, fastest, and brings the most people with them. So when we're talking about being leaders, you know, a lot of the people who are listening to our show are leaders in many ways, and in their lives or in their communities. And, you know, to know that leading is not with, you know, a certain kind of emphasis on a certain kind of power, but like both of you were talking about bringing it back to the love. Billy, you have in the corner of your screen there the picture of love, and then the, you know, the word love. I have love, the word love, underneath my tea right now to you know, infuse my water with that love. You know, sort of taking those moments to focus on that, and in a really, really deep way that means something all the time. And so I just love that quote about, you know, the one who leads with love goes the farthest, fastest, and brings the most people with them. Wow.
It's almost like a technology, Sunny, isn't it? It's like if you can just bring love. I mean, especially divine love, right? The divine love, which is the love that never changes and never varies. It's just pure divine love. You can bring that kind of love. That's the contentment. That's how you change it. That's how you shift the planet. That's how you shift your family and your individual self through that divine focused love. Yes, and I love that you're talking about the, you know, as a technology, because in a movie that came out many years ago, but one of my favorite movies, I Am, by Tom Shadyac. He wrote it and directed it, and it was really sort of a documentary on love and on just how to live a life that feels good to us, and that we can take it out into, you know, to the world. And he speaks of love as sort of a technology. You know, it's sort of not this airy fairy thing and let's just dance around and you know, it's like a real thing. And for us to, pardon me? An alchemy, right? Yes. Yes, like your good buddy talks about. But, you know, from The Alchemist. Yes. So what do you think about that, Angel? I mean, because you just live it. You probably have no words. You just live it.
Thank you. To be honest, I'm under attack here. It's trying to be positive, not just because the connection is going on and off, but no, I was going to say, you know, here at the Mindalia TV, as you all know, you know, we're trying to help as many people as possible, you know, as many millions of people as possible every single day, with all of our, you know, live interviews broadcasted all over the world. And something that we always try to do is to find those formulas, those techniques, those very simple things to do that can change, you know, our day, can change maybe eventually our lives forever. Because, you know, if we have 50 to 60 or maybe to 70,000 thoughts every single day, if you make the calculation, how many seconds per thought, right? So so what is left to the present moment? What is left to that thought of the present moment? What is left? How can we prolong those, I don't know, milliseconds or seconds that we can, you know, we can have this thought? And again, I love the idea of being a nowist. I mean, that's brilliant. It's just brilliant. I know, it's no, honestly, it's just brilliant. I mean, I had never heard that term before you, Billy. So, you know, how can we be permanent nowists according to your experience? Because obviously you are the guru here. You are the expert. We're just apprentices. You know, we're little grasshoppers here with all due respect, Sunny, of course.
Indeed, I agree.
So what would you say to that, Billy?
Well, thank you, Angel. I thank you for all the love. And I don't own the book. I feel like it was inspiration. Talk about divine love. I just feel like I'm a vehicle, instrument for inspiration. And I'm really not motivated by anything. I'm only inspired now. And I just feel when I live that way. Oh, thank you, Sunny. Thank you.
I'm reading it our whole time. I'm not reading it, but I'm referring to it as we're chatting. So carry on, Billy.
Thank you. Well, I just, I feel like when this inspiration came upon me, it was just overwhelming. Of course, the shafts of energy, and everyone has had the chill bumps, right? And the goose flesh that happens on your body, because when that feeling of inspiration comes, you better pay attention, because it's there for a reason. And I was just aware. I was literally learned that the now was the power that I had to shift my life. And the idea, the word that I created, I can't take credit for it. I think God does all the speeches. God writes all the books. I don't take credit for it. I just feel like I'm a wonderful, blessed vehicle to bring this message to the world, because I feel like it's my dharma, it's my purpose. And the present moment awareness that is lacking in the world, I feel like I can do my part. So I practice it myself so consistently. I say in the book that 90% of my day I live as a nowist. 10% of my day, it hits the fan, things go sideways, and I have stress just like everybody else. I just correct very quickly. I just know how to get back into that present moment awareness and out of the minutia or the inertia of my schedule of things going bad, things going wrong, especially when I'm around other people. Because other people are really those other souls, those other interactions with people, that's the quickest way to take you out of your present moment awareness. As we all know, I mean, the collective energy in a room, or, of course, Angel, you're in an airport right there. And, this is something that I've learned to do when I travel. I've been traveling a lot this year, kind of all over the world, speaking about the book and about these teachings and trying to do my part. I'll stand in the airport and I'll just look at all these different people from all over the world, kind of enjoying this fray. And I'll see the kind of the face of God, or I'll feel the energy of God in each one of them. I'll say, okay, there is God as a little 5-year-old kid. There's God as a mom. There is God as a salesman, or a stressed out flight attendant, or somebody that's running. And I'll just think, I see them in me. And I realize we are all one. Now spelled backwards is one. It's also one, the one infinite source, the one collective consciousness. And when I live there, I don't feel this separation. And that's the unity that I'm hoping people can realize when they get present and they take the focus off themselves instead of what's in it for them, but how can you serve? That's the shift. And that simple exercise of being in an airport can really help you, take the separation out and connect with unity and the oneness back.
Perhaps also when you're in the airport, you can think of them all as your tribe.
That's it. We're all alike. They're so similar. We're so we're all connected. Why look for division?
Especially when we know, we even have almost the exact same DNA construct as a tree. So when we realize how very much our construct is the same as each other, it's pretty astounding. And when you were chatting, Billy, I was thinking about many aspects in your book, excuse me, that I love so much, they're just so many fun tidbits. And I was thinking that when you're saying, Angel, or asking the question, how do we become a nowist? How do we, do that? Part of it is, shifting the situation that may be kind of painful or crazy to funny. I wrote down, when you were chatting, I wrote down the word laughing and laughter, and just being able to do that really brings us to the present moment. And again, Tom Shadyac, to just bring him in again, his dad, many people don't know, Robert Shadyac, joined with Danny Thomas to create St. Jude's Hospital. They're both Lebanese and everything. And Tom was telling me that even before his funny movies came out, they would use funny movies and TV and stuff for the kids to take away the pain, or, distract them from the pain of their cancer treatments. And so I was thinking about how that really brings such a connection to people when they laugh together. And then also just for ourselves, you can't think of other things when you're laughing. You're very present.
Nice. Support that too, right? You can be like a child, be in that bewilderment. And in the book, I have a chapter called, living in that bewilderment state, detaching from this physical world and living like a child in that bewilderment and that whimsical fancy that is, that joyous feeling you get around kids. And laughter is the key, because that changes, chemically it changes your body, the endorphins and dopamine, everything it releases. And then you can shift your health issues. And like Norman Cousins, right, cured his illnesses through laughter. I mean, that was like years and years ago, but there's so many great teachers that tell us some of the basic things we just forget, right? These are simple things.
I've had situations where I've been in something where it seemed so just heavy and just so problematic. And then all of a sudden somebody in the situation saw the ludicrousness of it. And the next thing we know, we're just all in peals of laughter. I mean, we're knee slapping, talking about Little Home on the Prairie. We're literally knee slapping ourselves, laughing so much. And I'm also thinking another example of that is, I love the expression that you use, and I use it too, Billy, about spiritual breadcrumbs. So, what I think we both mean by that is, first of all, taking life kind of bite by bite, breadcrumb by breadcrumb, step by step, and allowing ourselves not to feel so overwhelmed with the massiveness that we sometimes put on ourselves, because life does work by breath. We can't think of the breath we're going to take in, or the heartbeat we're going to have tomorrow. It's happening right now. And if we waited and put all that on hold, we wouldn't make it to tomorrow. So also with the concept of breadcrumbs are things like knowing the universe or God is talking to us. Like, for example, if we've lost someone in our lives and there's something about them, like they're Irish, and then all of a sudden we seem to see 4-leaf clovers everywhere or 3-leaf clovers everywhere. Those aspects of life that just, again, it's like whoosh, just bring us to the present, don't you think?
That's right. The spiritual breadcrumbs are those synchronicity or those signs that show up in our life. And it's a great example. I'm sure Angel, have you had signs and synchronicities that you can speak to that have shown up in your life that prove to you, that there's something greater, something bigger guiding you and following those? I call them spiritual breadcrumbs because it's like that whimsical Hansel and Gretel. It's just these simple little things, but they show up in your life. So Angel, I want to know if you have any signs or synchronicities you can speak to that have helped prove to you that there's just this divine universe that's just conspiring to help you and not hinder you. These breadcrumbs are signs to show you the way, and pay attention and be served and guided.
Well, it's great that you asked me that question, and thank you. Well, I have to say that it happens all the time. I mean, if you had asked me 1 year ago, I would be doing this with you and with Sunny today, I would have laughed like, that's impossible. So something that happens to me all the time right now, all the time is, let's say, suddenly my kid tells me, Daddy, we have to do something. And I have a conflict in my schedule. Or my wife tells me something, or a good friend of mine needs me. And I already have something else because I am an entrepreneur, so I'm pretty free and flexible. All the time, something happens to that person that he or she writes to me and says, excuse me, I will have to reschedule because I cannot do this. Yes. And honestly, and every single week, this happens to me. And sometimes, for instance, I'm not ready enough to have a business conversation with someone because I just, for whatever it is, I have to maybe talk to someone else to have a more productive business call with that person. It's amazing. For some reason, I know that appointment, it's going to be rescheduled. I already know it's going to happen. So that happens to me all the time. And one book that made me actually be continuously in that place, if I can speak to someone else's book, it's a book from a guy called who lives really, like, nobody knows where to find him almost. His name is Michael J. Singer. Michael J. Singer. He has a book called The Untethered Soul.
Yes, and great book. Wonderful book.
His journey is just mind blowing if you've read it. So he talks about surrendering. So I read this book only one day after I met Sunny for the first time. She doesn't know that. I read that book. I started reading that book just one day after. I went to the Mystic Journey bookstore in Venice Beach. Is it Venice? Is it Venice Beach?
Venice Beach. Uh-huh.
Okay. this amazing, amazing bookstore in Los Angeles. And he recommended me that book. And I started reading it and I said, wow. So I'm trying to stay on a permanent surrender experiment life, which is not easy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I have to confess, because my ego is so strong. And I'm a Leo. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you, any of you, but so, oh my God, oh my God. So, so it's just a matter of trying and experiment that place of, I'm going to surrender. So if someone is wanting to talk to me, have that conversation. If someone is calling you and wants to talk about something with you, or at the airport is an excellent place just to be open to people that want to talk with you.
Oh my gosh. I love A Course in Miracles. What they say in the Course in Miracles about this is, you knew who walked beside you on this journey you have chosen, you could never experience fear or doubt again. A Course in Miracles speaks to that. And that's what you're talking about, Angel. And I know, Sonny, you live that way because you have this guidance that's right next to you, your ancestors, loved ones, divine awareness, divine love, just right with you. And I think those spiritual breadcrumbs are just winks from the universe telling you, hey, pay attention. I'm giving you physical evidence in real time that you're not alone. So pay attention and just know that if you can imagine that they're all surrounding you, how much more peace and present moment awareness would you have in those moments?
I love that. And one thing, two things I want us to chat about, or whether we can chat about it a lot, I just want to throw into our big, beautiful salad, our cornucopia of treats today, is two things. Is actually music, the power of music for so many things. For me, it is one thing that can really bring me present. Especially if I use correct music, because sometimes for me, I might use music that I played a lot when I was many years ago, and it sort of takes me back to there. So for me, it almost works to bring in new music. So I'm really present because I'm working it, I'm using it, I'm singing it, and I'm working out the chords, and I'm like right there. And the other thing is, which both of you are so great at, is giving forward. Passing it forward, giving it forward, sharing it forward. And so, sometimes being in the present may not feel so fun if the little past and the dinky future fills us with a little fear. Like, let's say we have a challenge of health or finances or loss of a family member or something. So to know in that present moment, who can I reach out to? What can I do for someone else? It can allow us to feel more present. It can also just move us out of something that we would like to be moved forward out of, kind of like that. So whoever wants to jump in about those.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I was going to ask Billy, you mentioned that you have been all over the place this year. What would you say is the number one concern, question, piece of advice, or that people ask you? What do you think that the people most, according to your experience?
Thank you. That's a great question, Angel. And it's easy for me to answer because I literally, 75% of the time I get this question from audiences after I've given a talk or we've had a question and answer period. It's always, how do I get out of the stress of my daily schedule? How do I, when the world is pulling me on, I call it a river. It's like it's a river, and you're on this river, and you can't get off. You feel like you're just pulled through it, and it's just the current's too tough. And most people get caught up, and they're kind of victims to their schedule. And I speak to a lot of business professionals. The keynote that I've been giving in the real estate world has been now become a real estate agent. I'm teaching how to get in that state that is the now. That's the title of my book, The Nowist. To be a real estate agent doesn't even be a realtor or somebody who does real estate. It just means it could be a mom, it could be a hairdresser, a mechanic, it could be anybody, a lawyer. But the biggest challenge people have is, how do they get into the present moment when they're pulled through their day? And they have bosses, kids, husbands and wives to kind of answer to, and they get caught up in other people's minutia, and their energy takes them out of their present moment awareness. So that's when I connect them to the cover of my book, and I flip my book over, or I show them the cover of the book, and that's the Nowist symbol. And this symbol doesn't have to be on your person. I mean, it looks like it's the shape of a cross, but actually, it's the Nowist symbol. It's a symbol that teaches you how to get in the present moment through an image, through your imagination. And it's very simple. I tell them all you need to do when these moments happen is you need to get very present with your body, which means you take a breath, a diaphragmatic breath, a breath from your deep part of your belly. And when you can breathe there and get your physiology to relax, and then you can use your present moment awareness with your imagination to get into a place that shows peace. That image, you can see and feel peace. So you can do it by the symbol, because you'll see there's a linear line. Sorry, here's my book. When you see this linear line here, that is chronological time. We call that just an ordinary time. Then there's this vertical line or divine timeline, I call it, eternal time. And you can cross those two. That center section is the now. That's the present moment awareness. That's why the back of the book, you see this symbol above the planet, where the gravity of the earth cannot pull you down, where the gravity of your problems, the gravity of the situation, of other people's energy. When you can connect to your own personal physical energy through breathing, because that takes your physiology out, then you can use your imagination and your prayer or your meditative feelings to get into that present moment, which is that spot where you mix, you know, all your feelings and emotions with your mind and your focus to that center section that is the now. And when I explain that, and I have people do that exercise, in seconds, you can get to that place because you're detaching from all the energy that is everyone else, and you're connecting yourself and you're honing that laser-like oneness that is you to the heart of you, which is present moment awareness, which is where we all come from anyway. That's where we live, is in that infinite time that is out of time and space. It just lives in one moment. And you can connect it with your body, with your thinking, with your feelings, but you can do it consistently. That's what I do. The Nowist meditation, which is in my book, it's very simple. It takes 1 minute to do. And when you read the book and you find out how you can affect this practice in your life, that's when I think you can shift your day. And the answer to the question most people have is, how do I get out of my busy schedule? You know, I'm getting, like Angel was talking about, you know, these synchronicities show up. Or, you know, one schedule, well, something will be happening. It happens to me every day. A schedule will get moved, and I'll think, oh no, I'm going to be late for the next schedule. But they'll cancel, or they'll say, hey, you know what? Can we do it another day? Happens all the time. But when you can get in present moment awareness, look out, because the world is going to help you. It's going to conspire to serve you. The universe is going to combine with your high energy that is present moment awareness, and it's going to line up with what you want and what your point of attraction is, out of time and out of other people's emotions and feelings for you. You're going to connect to the oneness that is you, and that's how you get out of stress.
Exactly. Exactly. So I would like to just to read a question that we have for you, Billy, and then I think we should start finishing. But that's the question. It's a little bit long, so I'm going to read it to you. So I really want to focus on the good. I'm convinced that evil has always existed, and that now we just have technology and great media coverage. I truly feel we are evolving into a more loving being. Only 2,000 years ago, people would go see people kill each other for fun. How can I help other people see what I see? That this world is still a great place and that we can make it better.
That's a great question. How do we have other people see that the world is a great place? That's really the crux of the question. So I think of today, where the news shows up, and we've got another massacre on our hands here in California, where Sonny and I live, and it's happening all over the world more frequently. And the media, I find people have this really bad habit, and they get up in the morning and they watch the news. At night, before they go to bed, they watch the news. And I think the question that's related to that is the question I get when I speak around the world, is how do I get out of my stress? How do I get out of other people's emotions and how they're affecting my physiology and my present moment awareness? Well, if you have bad habits, and a bad habit is watching the news at night, watching the news in the morning, first thing when you get out of bed, and you start your day on that same stream I was talking about earlier, that inertia, that momentum that takes you, down this stressful day. If you start your day with bad habits like news, not praying, not being connected to your imagination for a wonderful day, for higher energy and more peace in the world, if we can collectively have good habits and routines that serve that, then the world is going to look different to people, because your world will change. I mean, William Wordsworth had this wonderful quote. He says, not choice, but habit rule the unreflecting herd. So if you're if we're part of this unreflecting herd, and we're just going along in the inertia of the media and news and negative outcomes, and our focus is there, what do you think is going to show up in our life? And if we want to help other people see how beautiful the world is and how we are genuinely good, and our present moment awareness does connect to that oneness where we are all the same, where we're all one, we can use our imagination and our peace and our physiology. So our collective energy, especially in our peer group, can be higher. Then people are going to see a different world. If you have a better habit, like Sonny said, a habit of paying it forward or giving it forward. I mean, you can shift the world through just that whole, how can I be of service? Not what's in it for me mentality. And that's when other people will see you and they'll say, gosh, you know, you're coming from this place of kindness and giving and service, not so much about what's in it for you. Then other people will see the world through your eyes and the planet can shift. And that's my mission.
Can I add one thing to that, or ask if you think this is important too, when you're talking about the news and this or that, when we're together, or an answer to that question would be the conversation, the words that we use when we are with people, and we just use beautiful high level conversation as much as we can, if not always, but catch ourselves when we start to fall into negative talk, either about ourselves or what's happening in the world, or with, of course, gossip we just don't do. And just keep our conversation as beautiful and as high-minded and high-hearted as possible. That would be another way, don't you think?
Absolutely. That's how it starts, because, thoughts are things, words have power. So why don't we have our self-talk and the talk that we give to always come from that mindfulness, that part that is connected to the same feelings and emotions of high energy that we really want. We all just want love. We all want to be loved. When you boil it all down, it's just we want to feel love. So pay that love forward, give that love forward, start with service from love, and just see how your world shifts and how people will see the world through your eyes, which is just peace and love.
Excellent. So we have to start closing our conversation for today. It's been an amazing conversation.
Angel, thank you so much.
Billy, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much. Before we let you go, why don't you remind us of where can we find you? Where can we find you online? How can we contact Billy?
Thank you, Angel. Once just Sonny and Angel and Myrna, thank you so much for this opportunity to speak to your audience. I'm honored. Mindalia TV is just a wonderful platform for what my heart is about, which is to spread the higher energy and the present moment awareness to the planet, which everybody can do this. And if you want to go deeper with me, you can go to www.billymandarino.com, and everything that social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I have a YouTube channel. I have a 1-minute video that I give every day. It's called 1 Minute in the Now. And you can learn just each day, subscribe to my channel, how to learn more about what I'm talking about and more about my book. And my book is on Amazon and all the other channels that sell books. But BillyMandarino.com is the best place to go deeper and to learn more about being a nowist.
Yay.
Excellent. Thank you. What about you, Sonny? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Billy. And Sonny, where can we find your genius online?
Oh my goodness. Well, you can find me at sunnychase.com and also on iHeartRadio. And so if you just Google Sonny Chase, the YouTube channel will come up. I'm on ABC Talk News and also ubnradio.com. So kind of like that. And then also at wholelifetimes.com. So you can find all the articles and a bunch of other cool stuff at Whole Life Times. And me next week here.
Excellent. So thank you again. Thank you, Billy, very much. And Sonny, it's been a pleasure again, as every week to be here with you. And thank you for bringing in Billy. It's been an amazing.
My pleasure.
I feel very blessed.
Human being.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is it now time to blow out the candle?
Why not? Please.
Make a wish. Make a wish, Sonny. Make a wish for peace. There we go.
Awesome. Thank you. So again, this is Angel Riba with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much for being with us today, and thank you, and hope to see you soon in another of our shows. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.